to that straight right hand. In other words, make it hard for the strong Millett to get close. Make Millett get a little sloppy, a little over-anxious. Create opportunities. Be smart. Don't just hang around Millett. With that power, sooner or later, you hang around Millett, he's going to catch you.
Perez cautioned again for a low blow. Millett has those trunks up fairly high in the front.
It's the kind of fight, because of the power differences with Perez and Millett. Millett being a big banger. Millett can make mistakes, still win the fight. Perez cannot afford to make mistakes.
Welcome back to the Savannah Civic Center in Savannah, Georgia. Bob Papa along with Teddy Atlas. Round number 3 underway between Terron Millett, the former IBF junior welterweight champion, and Luis Perez. So far, Teddy, through the first 2 rounds, Perez 12 of 75 with his jab. You'd like to see him a bit more accurate with that.
He's the taller man. He's the man with less power than Millett. Yes, you would like to see him use that jab. Stay on the outside. Try to create some opportunities. Stay away from the power of the shorter Millett.
A counter right shot by Millett.
Perez does have a habit. Sometimes, instead of slipping the punches, he'll straighten up a little bit. If he does that when he's still in that punching zone, still close enough to get hit, he'll get caught like he just did there with the right hand by Millett.
Teddy, the corner of Millett at the end of the last round asked him to jab a little bit more. I'd like to see a little bit more from his jab.
There's different reasons for the jab from both corners. For Perez, as we said, you want to use the jab to separate yourself, to keep distance, to make Millett reach in a little bit, to use your height. In Millett's corner, the reason you want to use that jab is so you don't leave yourself open. You work your way in behind that jab, behind the cover of that jab, and you get close enough to unload your punches without reaching. Millett doesn't use the jab, he reaches a little bit.
After flipping a right hand to the head, Perez threw that left hook to the body. Mixing up his punches well. That time he led with the right hand. Just under a minute to go in this 3rd round.
Smart move by Perez there on the inside. The shorter, stronger Millett got close. Perez didn't want to deal with that. He tied him up.
Perez goes to the body with both the left and right hand. Hey, Perez is getting some things done.
Well, what's important here is Perez, being the less experienced fighter in there with the former world champ, is getting some confidence.
He's keeping himself on the outside as well. So Luis Perez, who took this fight on 4 days' notice, doing a good job against Terron Millett through 3 rounds in a scheduled 10-round bout. Well, we saw him earlier seated ringside. Now he joins us right at ringside, the former undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield. How are you?
I'm doing great.
All right, you got a big fight this summer in China, huh?
Well, I look forward to the 5-time heavyweight champion of the world.
Teddy?
Things have changed a little bit in the last day, Evander. All of a sudden, the heavyweight picture has changed. There's a new man in charge, Don King now. All of a sudden, having the heavyweight champion, it could make it possible for your dream to come true, being the undisputed heavyweight champ of the world now.
Well, it's a lot easier. I don't have to worry about Lennox not wanting to fight me anymore. That's fine if you don't want to fight me, but if you do, I will fight. But all the titles, I guess, on the side of Showtime, so I get a great opportunity.
Evander, what will be different this time with John Ruiz?
Well, the whole thing, I just have to knock him out. I just can't get out there and box him. I just have to put pressure on him and stop him.
How difficult does it have to go all the way to China to fight him?
Well, it really don't make a difference. I'm just glad to get the opportunity.
You know, you been a part or heavyweight champion undisputed for over 10 years now. You've had your hand in the pot. Did you ever think it was going to last this long?
Well, not at all. Only thing that I try to do, being undisputed champion in 1990 to 1992, after losing against Reddy Bow, is to unify again to get out. But it always somehow get away. I get 2 of them, but never got the 3rd one. So I'm just used to, I just want to finish it. I just want to be undeniable, the undisputed champion, then leave.
And a big thing was made, and for good reason. The last fight when Rothman was able to upset Lennox Lewis. The fight was a far way off. It was in South Africa, and there was a lot made about how Rothman went out there way ahead of time to acclimate to the time zone and of course, the altitude in that case. And, of course, Lennox Lewis didn't. Now, your fight is going to be in China. Real long way. How far before the fight are you going out there?
At least 3 to 4 weeks. I wouldn't go up there 10 days like I would accustomed to go to different places. I realize it's a price you have to pay, and you have to get used to the climate.
Evander, Terron Millett idolizes you, and he told us yesterday that you're one of the fighters that he truly admires. From what you've seen through the first 3 rounds of this fight, what does he have to do better to make this fight a little easier for himself?
Well, he have to put combination together. One thing people have to understand, you have to throw combination. A lot of times when you're right-handed, you have to end up on your left hand when you're able to set real quick. Right now he pop shot, and sometimes he get a little too anxious at time with the big shot, but he had to set something up and throw combination.
Sometimes that can be the curse of a big puncher. Can it, Evander?
Well, yes, because a lot of times you find yourself walking into shots because the one big shot that you pull back and they're able to pick up the big shot.
You get into the habit too much of landing that one shot and seeing guys disappear.
Well, yeah, the big thing is you throw a combination. You always hit the guy with the shot that he thinks is not coming.
In other words, what you're saying, talent or no talent, you should fundamentally always pay attention and always be solid and do things right.
Well, you have to, don't you? You get hit with the unexpected. When you get hit with the unexpected, you usually fall.
Well, Millett hoping to land that unexpected shot. He rocked Perez to start this round. Perez settled in the middle part of the round. Maybe a little bit tougher than even Terron Millett thought coming in, facing this opponent on only 4 days' notice. Evander, best of luck this summer. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Classy heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield back to Savannah after this timeout. We get set for the start of the 5th round between Terron Millett and Luis Perez. Scheduled 10-round bout. Neither man has been hurt. There have been no knockdowns. Each guy has landed some pretty good shots. Millett landed a nice right hand to start the last round. Then he languished in the middle part of the round, then came on strong late. Hey, we really haven't seen that uppercut from Millett. Is that because Perez has not given him the opportunity to throw it?
Perez hasn't made those mistakes of leaning forward inside from too far away. He's gotten himself in pretty good position, and if he's leaning forward, he's been tucked in pretty close to Millett, where Millett couldn't get off that uppercut. Where Millett might have to make, as I said earlier, a little step back to kind of exaggerate the bend of Perez, make Perez lean a little bit, and then create room for the uppercut.
Perez doubling up with that left hand, finishing strongly to the body.
We've talked about it before. One of the dangerous things when you're fighting somebody on sudden notice, everybody thinks, well, the advantage is to the man who had time to prepare. In this case, Millett. Not always the case. Sometimes what can happen is psychologically, a little damage can be done. Where you can, even without meaning to, even if your corner tells you don't think that way, you can start to say, hey, I'm going to have a little easier fight because this guy has taken the fight on quick notice. And what happens is, all of a sudden, you just psychologically let up a little bit. Your opponent is prepared. You know what? You have a tough fight on your hands.
Up and down, come on,
And that's the real X factor in there. Short notice opponent who's ready. Usually short notice and ready don't go hand in hand.
So it's very important right now. Two things Millett's people should be looking for. The way the fight's going, the way Perez is choosing to operate in that ring, Millett needs to cut the ring down, not follow Perez around, and needs to come behind the jab. So Perez can't pick him up coming in. Millett needs that jab, Bob, even if it doesn't land real well, just to keep Perez defensive as Millett tries to close the gap. Otherwise, Perez can score.
Well, Luis Perez managing his performance very well through the first half of this fight.